Authorized Ford and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is March the 25th, 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious, especially those of you who are operating vehicles on the roads. Please be cautious. Remember, every person who's using the road have an expectation of getting from point A to point B as safely as possible. If we all have the same mindset of getting there safely, not necessarily getting there on time or trying to make up time, then the life we save may just be our own. So please, please be extremely cautious out there. Don't take your emotions and let your emotions play out by the way that you operate the vehicle that you're operating on the roads. You have to stay calm. You have to concentrate. You have to think about your safety and the safety of all of those who are around you as well. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, I want to wish you a happy birthday. And I must say, she's not in the studio with us this morning, that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson, but she is celebrating her birthday today, so we want to wish Miss Susan a happy birthday. Hope that she enjoys it and that she lives to see many, many more. And Susan, whatever you do, do it in moderation, because we expect you back here in the studio at some point in time as well. But do enjoy yourself today. For those of you who have celebrated a birthday over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. So, and those of you who are ill, whether you're at home or at a medical facility, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. Some persons have had eye surgery. We wish you a speedy recovery. Some persons have had knee replacement surgery. That recovery will take a little bit longer, but you will get there. Just be patient and follow the instructions of your doctors and your therapists as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman. and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning is the radio voice of DJ Lynn waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. This morning, my guest in the studio with me is none other than Dr. Steve McField. Doc, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your fans in For the Record land, those in the Cayman diaspora, and those who listen to you 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Good morning to all of you. It's good to be back with you again. I know you and in my discussion with you on the phone during the week, there were so many things that you were onto. And one of the things that I would like to ask you this morning is because I've heard that I think on Wednesday you were on the show by yourself, and there was some talk about an award.
Oh yes,
that you said that you would not go and take it up, but I did not get the gist of what that was all about.
Okay.
So I'm asking you publicly.
Well, you know they're honoring those persons who are in the uniformed service.
Okay.
This is again, through Celebrate Cayman and everything, and of course, I think they have because of COVID and everything else and the delays, they have now split it up into the various districts. And last weekend, it was over in the Sister Islands, and they're doing each district. So I was nominated for my time at the immigration department, and but I'm Doc. I'm not into those words. I have, like I said, I have my MBE. That at some point in time, I intend to return that to the UK as well. But I'm waiting for the opportune time to do it. I want to do it as a protest.
Yes.
At some point in time, because to me, that award is part of the legacy of colonialism, the British Empire. That's what the British Empire represents: slavery in part, subjugation, domination, and I don't see my part in that was a victim. That's the part that I would have played in that. My family, your family, all of those who were brought across, in the transatlantic slave trade were brought over. That's the role that we played as the victims, and we see that being played out today. We see the UK still, and people trying to use strong arguments against reparations, but also even the fact about apologizing. Mm-hmm. Some people say, well, I didn't do anything. It was my family. Why should I apologize?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, you should, because in some way or some shape or form, you benefited from it as well, and you probably still benefiting from it, because by subjugating others and your family's having that privilege continued to extend to you. That laid the foundation for some of the privileges that you have today, as well. And we see it playing out in Jamaica as well.
Yes.
And then the part that they also, try to do is that they try to shame you if you, they're saying, I saw an article where they talk about the Prime Minister of Jamaica and the fact that he sort of blindsided Prince William when he said that, made the remark in terms of that Jamaica is going to go...
Is moving on.
Is going to be moving on and stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't the right place to say it, but it needed to be said.
Well, where is the right place to say it? Where's the right place to say it? And I just want to tell you this morning I agree with you, and I concur with your sentiments, and I feel the same way that you feel. I have always felt that way. Even from a teenager, I have felt that way after reading the colonial history and finding out that I was a British subject with no rights, and so forth in the early stage of my life. And that is why I delve in history so that I could know about myself and where I came from and where I'm going to go. And just to share your sentiments, some of your sentiments with you, my sentiment with you. I was approached by some prominent person the other day, several months ago, and they were asking me if I would allow them to broker on my behalf the privilege for me to become a QC, since they had not given it to me, and since they had not given it to me after being in practice all of these years, and being a senior lawyer in court and all that sort of stuff. And I told them no. And they were like, why not? Why not? Why don't you? I says, no, I don't want it. I never intended to be in a position to earn that. What I mean in a position to earn it, I never intended to be a colonial, to take a colonial medal or a colonial honor. I already been honored by my own people, and they were like surprised. And I says, well, I'm like Leon Ramsey from Jamaica. The acting Chief Justice, Mr. Ramsey Hale's father, he when they gave it to him, he turned it back. He didn't want it. I don't want it either. And they're like why? I says, the guy was saying to me, well, that's an honor to be. I says, but that honor I don't need. I don't want that honor. I don't want any colonial honor.
And I'm talking about the Jamaica situation. There's a story now. There's a lawyer. I'm trying to. I think I forwarded that to you as well. I'll have to find it. The one that burnt 3 of the wigs.
Yes.
The regalia that lawyers use. He just burned that. So I'll find that and share the story with him. We do have a caller. DJ Lynn, you want to take the break first or take the caller? We're going to, caller, just hang in there. We need to take a commercial break. As soon as we return, we're going to take your call. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
In 1904, Cayman Brac turtling captain and boat builder Daniel Jervis built a prototype Caymanian catboat named Terror, an obvious improvement on the previous canoe-style boats of the day. The Caymanian catboat was on average 16 feet long and drew no more than 8 inches of water. Painted in their distinctive catboat blue color, it provided effective camouflage when seen from below, permitting the crew to discreetly approach turtles.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Zara. If you are students in Cayman between 3 and 16 years old and love reading books like I do, welcome to the first Rotary Central Video Book Reports competition. Record your short video, no more than 90 seconds, on why you love your favorite book, what made you excited, or what made you laugh. There are lots of fabulous prizes. Too many to talk about now. For further information and sign up, go to Rotary Central Cayman Islands Facebook page or email david.rotarycentral@gmail.com. Record your book report video and send it by March 31st. So easy, so fun. The Rotary Central Cayman Islands Video Book Report Competition. Rotary serves to change lives.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField, and we do have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
You know, when I had a smile when Doc was, giving his welcome. He said it was good to be back. I thought he was saying good to be back home. Meaning in Radio Cayman. Doc, one question on the subject that you and O.C. was talking. What are we Caymanians? Because indigenous Caymanians have no title, you know. If you check it out, it's only those that have the paper that have a title.
Oh yes. You're correct about that.
They always say they have something to show that they're Caymanian. What do we have to show?
Because I know, I didn't have to go out and ask to become Caymanian. But if I go and find a job, the first thing they ask me is proof of Caymanianship. And if I can't my passport, no, that's not good enough. You need to prove by immigration status that you are.
Yeah. And I caller, I think sometimes when you look at some of these companies and how they have such total disregard for the immigration laws and stuff like that. I believe that when they're asking Caymanians to prove that they're Caymanians, that they're doing it more to denigrate us than anything else. Because if they were so concerned about offending the laws of the Cayman Islands by hiring someone who's non-Caymanian and not getting a work permit, they wouldn't be doing all of the other things that they're doing. I think they do it just to try to denigrate us when they ask for that.
My daughter-in-law, born and bred Caymanian from way back, the heritage, and at her workplace, which, as far as I know, is partially owned by Caymanian. She had to reduce this.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous, and nobody seems to want to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Well, caller, let me give you some of my experience. I remember after we clerked the courts, after going to London to do the bar exams, and after coming back and being assigned as Crown Counsel, prosecuting counsel in the legal department in those days on third floor in the Gold Glass House, and then I went to be called to the bar by a foreign judge. My whole family was there. We're happy to see my success. It was something that they look forward to. And when I went to get called to the bar that morning to be registered as a lawyer in the courts, he said I had to prove that I was Caymanian. I had no proof that I was Caymanian that morning, and then he was not going to call me to the bar until I proved that I was Caymanian. And Mr. Ormond Panton happened to be in court that morning, and Mr. Ormond Panton asked him if he could get up and go in the witness box and swear that I was Caymanian, that he knew me, that my mother was sitting next to me in court, and so forth. It was the most embarrassing thing to me. And it was from then that I knew that I would never, ever bow down to that colonial system, and that I would never be a servant of that. Your obedient servants to any of them. That was the thing. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. For me, from then, I was seeking the rights for Caymanians, and it was from then. So it didn't start just today. It started a long time ago.
Yep. They treat us like mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So
keep us in the dark, feed us manure.
Yep. Caller?
I want to wish Susan happy birthday as well.
Okay, I'm sure she's listening. She's listening in. Yep. Caller, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for that. So, Doc, we have so many things we want to talk about.
Yes.
We're going to talk about your family in Nicaragua, who has made the statement about the current government. There's an article in the Jamaica Gleaner about a prisoner who seemed to be operating a work permit scam for the Cayman Islands, operating it right in the prison. I don't know if people have seen that story yet, but that Gleaner article also mentions the fact that Work had put out a statement saying that this was false and it had nothing to do with them. Then we have the article on that the attorney in Jamaica who we were talking about, who burned his judicial wigs and called for the removal of the Privy Council as the final court. His Queen's Counsel, Hugh Small.
Yes.
They says there he has a burning desire for Jamaica to do away with the United Kingdom-based Privy Council as its appellate court. Yesterday, as he prepared to relocate from St. Elizabeth to the corporate area, he set ablaze 3 judicial wigs regarded as symbols of the colonial past. On one of the wigs belonged to his late father, senior puisne Judge Ronald Small. Another belonged to him, but he could not immediately recall the origin of the third wig. Small said, for various reasons, the wigs were no longer of any symbolic or sentimental value to him. He's quoted as saying, "It is time for us to be on our own. The only reason we wore wigs was because we were part of the British Empire," he told the Gleaner. Small was called to the Jamaica Bar in 1963 and was appointed Queen's Counsel in 1975. He also served as a judge in the Bahamas. Jamaican judges and attorneys of law no longer wear wigs. Small was said wearing the wigs, which came out of the 14th century, 14th century Europe, was not something black people damaged by the colonial empire should keep. He is pressing for Jamaica to make the Caribbean Court of Justice its final appellate court. It's quoted again as saying, "We established and accepted the court, and I think it is time for the government and the opposition to stop shadowboxing, because what they are doing is shadowboxing," he said, adding that a referendum is not needed to make the change. Small said to keep the Privy Council is to extend the relationship with the British monarchy. So that is that. And this one I won't have time to share with you, with our audience, but in today's date in history, Robert the Bruce is king. And talking about Robert the Bruce, this is for 32 years, from 1296 to 1328, the Scots fought against the English for independence, and it was King Robert the First, better known as Robert the Bruce, who finally won it. Crowned King of the Scots in March 25th, 1306, Robert's reign was marked by years of war against the militarily superior English. The tide turned following the Scottish victory in the famous Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. England finally agreed to Robert's terms for peace in 1338, 1 year before his death. So again, you see, right there in their back door, the Scots fighting. You see the situation still obtaining in Northern Ireland and everything else.
And still in Scotland too. They still wanted devolution to move to get their own independence from England.
And here we are in the Caribbean. We don't look like them. We don't talk like them, but we want to be like them.
Yes,
folks. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
March in Cayman is hot, but at Foster's, it's frozen.
Frozen Food Month is back, and you could win one of 5 $250 Foster's cards. To enter, just purchase any 5 products from the frozen department from now until March 31st.
You could grab frozen pizzas for dinner, frozen berries for your morning smoothies, or frozen plant-based sausages for something different.
Exactly! Just purchase any 5 frozen products and enter online at fosters.ky/Frozen Food Month.
Foster's, better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. A collaborative multi-agency training exercise organized by the Cayman Islands Regiment puts the focus on emergency response driver training. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
The program is an internationally accredited emergency response driving instructors course delivered by Emergency Response Driver Training Limited from the UK. Along with the Cayman Regiment, the Cayman Islands Fire Service, Hazard Management Cayman Islands, Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, and Emergency Management Services took part in the training. The instructors program is provided for British Crown dependencies, British Overseas Territories, and international emergency services, and is designed to provide skills, knowledge, and understanding required to deliver initial or recertification emergency response driver training and assessments. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
The Cayman Islands Red Cross announces a new Darkness to Light training session in their virtual platform. Deputy Director Carolina Fajeda explains the Recognizing and Reporting of Child Abuse and Neglect training module teaches participants about all forms of abuse, indicators for each, and how to report suspicions, disclosures, or discovery of abuse.
The Darkness to Light Stewards of Children training program, which is the one that people are more familiar with, is one that focuses specifically on child sexual abuse. The Recognizing and Reporting of Child Abuse and Neglect looks into other forms of abuse, such as emotional and physical abuse, as well as neglect. So this is a great training, not only for educators and volunteers, but also for parents and any another person who wants to build their safeguarding knowledge and confidence.
To access the training, head to d2l.org or email deputy.redcross.org.ky for more information. The Judicial Administration's Distinguished Lecture Series is taking place this afternoon by Lady Arden, an eminent jurist who recently retired from the UK Privy Council and the UK Supreme Court. Lady Arden's lecture will be on the topic Taking Stock of Recent Jurisprudence of the Privy Council in the Courthouse Today. Due to limited seating, the lecture will be live-streamed on judicial.ky starting at 2:30 p.m. In regional news, Barbadian Prime Minister Mia Mottley wants to see the dismantling of the old global order and replaced with a new order that promotes world peace. She issued the charge this week as she delivered the inaugural World Trade Organization presidential lecture under the theme Reinventing the Global Order from the WTO headquarters in Geneva. Motley told the gathering that the global order was, quote, simply the embalming of the old colonial order that existed at the time of the establishment of these institutions. Motley contended that the existing global order perpetuated a situation of first- and second-class countries, and those countries, by their actions, had determined the rights of a few and had exercised their powers to veto decisions at the Round Table on critical matters. Now with the check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News for Jerry Smith. The US has agreed to boost the amount of liquefied natural gas it supplies to EU countries as part of efforts to lessen Europe's dependency on Russian fossil fuels. President Biden said he knew it would be difficult for Europe to move away from Russian energy, but he insisted it was the right thing to do. The authorities in the embattled Ukrainian city of Mariupol say they now believe about 300 people died when Russia bombed a theatre last week. Hundreds of people have been sheltering in the building's basement with the word children in Russian written on the ground outside. Officials in Kharkiv say early morning shelling hit a walk-in clinic in Ukraine's second city that was being used as a humanitarian distribution point. Police say 4 people were killed and 3 wounded. According to the local governor, Russia also attacked Kharkiv airport with rockets. In other news, Australia says it's opposed to China building a military base in the Solomon Islands as Beijing seeks to extend its influence in the Pacific. Canberra said there was no place in the region for an authoritarian regime. The foreign ministers of India and China have held their first meeting since deadly border clashes 2 years ago. India's foreign minister said relations could not be normal as long as there were so many troops on their shared border. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Zara. If you are students in Cayman between 3 and 16 years old and love reading books like I do, welcome to the first Rotary Central Video Book Report competition. Record your short video, no more than 90 seconds, on why you love your favorite book, what made you excited, or what made you laugh. There are lots of fabulous prizes. Too many to talk about now. For further information and sign up, go to Rotary Central Cayman Islands Facebook page or email david.rotarycentral@gmail.com. Record your book report video and send it by March 31st. So easy, so fun. The Rotary Central Cayman Islands Video Book Report Competition. Rotary serves to change lives.
The Health Services Authority's new pharmacy is now open at the Smith Road Medical Center. The new location features a large, comfortable waiting area and ticketing system to improve the patient experience. All uncollected prescriptions and refill requests previously submitted will now be available for collection at the Smith Road Pharmacy. Request your refills online at hsa.ky via WhatsApp 925-6532 or call 244-2715. For more information about our pharmacy hours, visit hsa.ky.
Calling all amateur bakers in the Cayman Islands. Celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Taking part in the Cayman Islands Platinum Cake Competition. His Excellency the Governor Martin Roper invites you to submit your homemade dessert recipe to the Governor's office by April 3rd. Win a chance to have your dessert recreated for the Queen's birthday party in June. Do you have what it bakes? Well, submit today at gov.ky/Jubilee.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Pleasant good morning once again. Taking a look at the weather outside. The current temperature is sitting at 84 degrees. Currently about 32% chances of rain. Partly cloudy skies this morning as a few showers develop throughout the afternoon. Winds are currently coming in from the south-southeast at 8 miles per hour and should be sustained between 5 to 10 miles per hour throughout the day. Current humidity sitting around 68%. UV index 10 out of 10. Sunset today in the Cayman Islands around 6:37 p.m. Overnight lows expect around 74 degrees with about 21% chances of late night showers and some clouds. Wind should be coming in around 2 miles per hour and expected to be light and variable. This is your 8:15 weather update brought to you in part by Britcay.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? Nope, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
And for the drivers on the beautiful Cayman Islands coming in from the east, a bit of slow-moving traffic in front of the Lantern Point and on towards Lion Center. Things begin to slow down quite a bit as you head on towards Linford Pearson Highway. Expect some delays earlier this morning. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, bit of stop and go as you head on towards the CNP roundabout. Alternating flow of traffic currently at this time and the Godfrey Dixon Way as you head on towards Eastern Avenue. Traffic moving in all directions at this time by the Butterfield roundabout in and out of the industrial park area. Coming in from the west, everything is running smoothly at this time. Consider this a report. If you do see something, please give us a call, 949-6990.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, juices, and molasses.
So good.
Wow.
Sensational. Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
You can now book and pay online for your certified lateral flow test at www.hsa.ky/appointment. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Certified LFTs are $25 per test per person. HSA's testing center is located at 131 Center, McClendon Drive, behind Foster's Airport. Walk-ins for certified LFTs are also available. Need a PCR test for travel? These are now only $75. Visit hsa.ky/appointment for more information.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, none other than Dr. Steve McField. We have two stories that we want to share with you this morning. I'm going to share the first one. Doc is going to share the second one, because the second one is much, much closer to Doc's heart. Actually, it runs through his veins. Yes. So I'm going to let him share that one. But this one, Jamaica Gleaner, yesterday's edition, inmate runs job racket from prison. Dozens of Cayman-bound victims fleeced for cash. Don't know if you heard about this before. Don't know if you read it before. So it says here, a Jamaican prisoner is believed to be the mastermind of a recently discovered overseas job scam in which about 30 persons from several parishes in Jamaica who were promised customer service jobs in the Cayman Islands were scammed of nearly 1 million Jamaican dollars. The victims had reportedly paid over $30,000 each as a security deposit for the program, while some had handed over money they had collected from persons they were instructed to recruit for the company's unemployment insurance program. According to a local police source, the prisoner placed over time advertisements in the media for various schemes, including jobs, car loans, houses, amongst other things, that would appeal to low-income and unemployed individuals. Under the insurance program, registered members were required to contribute 5% of their salary monthly, and in the event of job loss would be paid for a year or be otherwise employed. The company which operated under the name the Employees Corporation of Jamaica at 85 Hagley Park Road in Kingston had circulated a flyer on social media seeking 30 persons to work in Cayman on work exchange. Work permits, plane tickets, and accommodation were promised. Some victims who had been preparing to leave Jamaica on Saturday, I believe that would have been last Saturday, had quit their jobs and had taken out loans for the trip. Some even sold their furniture. However, several victims who expected refunds after the trip was cancelled had their world turned upside down after they learnt on Sunday via an advisory on Facebook from the Cayman Islands Labor Ministry that neither the ministry nor the Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman were affiliated with Employees Corporation of Jamaica. So somehow, somewhere, our authorities here got wind of it, and so this article says that our Labor Ministry on Facebook advised that neither the ministry nor Workforce Employment and Residency Cayman were affiliated with Employees Corporation of Jamaica. Many turned up at the Fraud Squad office in downtown Kingston on Monday to report the matter after the branch director, who had promised to refund the money, informed them that she was going to the station. Roxanne Francis, who had resigned, said they were told that the company was fairly new, but that it had branches in 21 different countries. We were informed that we would have worked for the company for 2 weeks with pay before we migrated to the Cayman Islands on March the 19th. But we were not paid that salary, and we had to be going back and forth with the person as the information was not communicated effectively amongst everyone, she said. According to Francis, the company's production manager, who had conducted the training, had assured them that the job was legitimate. But she said the branch manager disclosed in a WhatsApp group Sunday night that she did not know who the owner was and had never met him. She said she had been working with him since January the 22nd, but he had never paid her. That doesn't sound right. And that it is her baby father, who provides her with a source of income. I am not certain as to how she pays the workers who are enrolled, Francis said. Another victim who had quit but whose employer had not accepted his resignation said he was very skeptical of the opportunity from the outset, but brushed aside those reservations because his relative had helped him land the post and gave assurance that it was genuine. Roshane, who requested that his surname be withheld, said he had seen the flyer floating around but had not given it a thought until his niece told him to check it out. He admitted to having misgivings because of several red flags, but pushed ahead. He's quoted as saying, "I believe in a business idea, especially after seeing how many people lost their jobs in the pandemic," he said. However, he said, for March, the company told them that it had a promotion where persons who registered were required to pay $500 per week, and that each of them was mandated to recruit at least 50 persons to qualify for the Cayman program. So they were using this pyramid scheme. And he was using this pyramid scheme. Said, but the call center workers said after encountering several red flags, including legal documents filled with grammatical errors, February flight delays, assurances of no need for COVID-19 vaccination or testing for travel, those things changed his mind after the trip was canceled on Saturday. He demanded back his money, but was told it was too late. This person said they spent about $50,000 included funds for a police record, but was more worried about other victims who had exhausted their income and were deep in debt. A lot of persons resigned from their jobs. Some sold down to their furniture. I know one girl who gave up her house and went to stay with her mother, as she was saying her contract was for three years. A lot of people went out of the way, and what really hurt is that we are not being treated as victims. Let me see if there's anything else here that so that I don't have to read the whole thing out to you. Of course, the one lawyer has said, my client is not involved in any fraudulent activity, and I have not gotten any instructions about the money, but we are ready to show that we are not involved. But here again, successful Cayman Islands,
yes.
A place where jobs are going, supposedly going, but at the same time we have some Caymanians who find it difficult to get the jobs that they feel that they're qualified for and that they feel that they should have. But again, we're the magnet. We're attracting.
Yes,
we attract all kinds.
It's like Judge Hercules said many, many years ago, it is the land of milk and honey. This is what it is. This is what it has become now. Several decades ago, we were sending money here, to make ends meet for our respective families. Now, people are coming here, taking the money and sending it back to their 135 countries, whatever countries, to make ends meet for their families. Can you imagine? In one generation ago, they said that this was the place that time forgot. You remember that?
Yes.
In case of time forgot. Now time has remembered us now, and now has overtaken us, and now we are the breadbasket, seem to be the breadbasket of the rest of the world for other people. And
we run the risk of losing our identities, our heritage, our culture and everything in that process.
That's
as
right.
well.
That's right. And can you imagine a prisoner in Jamaica? A prisoner in Jamaica can have that much power and skill to put our country in that in that position. This is not someone who's outside with an office in Duke Street or someplace. This is someone with an office in the penitentiary that is doing that.
I wonder if it might have been a former person who may have worked in Cayman before,
probably,
and knew some of the ropes and stuff like that.
Probably, yes.
But
probably.
Again, it goes to show you that we here in the Cayman Islands at the same time, we do, and we have our problems, we have our challenges, but we are blessed in other respects as well. We are blessed to the extent that we are so attractive to others, and that is why, Doc, it is so important for the policy makers to get it right. I'm not going to talk too much about the articles because I'm on the board and stuff like that. But that article and the letter that was leaked to the press that Mr. Barton wrote to
chairman.
The minister, yes, Mr. Barton. It is so important for us to try to get it right, to get the balance. And what he talks about laws and need to be revised and stuff like that is true. Some of the legislation or the policies, not so much the legislation because that has been amended and revised and stuff like that, but the policies that we have in place, they're not necessarily fit for purpose now because the Cayman Islands have progressed. We have moved on.
Oh, definitely have moved on from the relevancy of those from those policies and legislation that we've had, and we've moved on to another place now, and to and into another atmosphere now, and therefore, we have the same thing on the board that I chair. But outdated policies, outdated legislation, and so forth, which is bringing us a lot of problems too. So it's not only on your board that you have those problems. We have them on our board as well.
And I mean, there's talk about looking at the point system, revising the point system for residents. And I believe that we have to go beyond the point system. We have to look at the whole concept of residency, of permanent residency at all. We have to look at what those policies that we currently have in place, how much they're accelerating the loss of our culture, the loss of our identity, how much it's accelerating that ratio between Caymanians and non-Caymanians, something that I think it is important, for us to maintain that if we want to remain Caymanian, or if we just want to be called Caymanian in name only and nothing else. If we just want to be called Caymanian in name and nothing else, that's fine. Open up the floodgates. Grant the permanent residences. Ensure that they are then registered or naturalized as a British Overseas Territory citizen. Several years later, they get their Caymanian status, and they're part of that. If we just want to be Caymanian in name only, just go ahead and do it. But if we want to retain the special little place that we have and that we had before, when our population was 8,000, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, if we want to retain that, then we have to look at the policies that we have in place here when we allow persons to come, the privilege to come and work in the Cayman Islands. They cannot believe that they come to work and to live here, and this is the end of the road for them, that this is where they're going to plant their stakes in the Cayman Islands. We cannot give that assurance to everyone, and it has to be limited. Otherwise, we're going to be overwhelmed in a hurry, and we're seeing it happening. Folks, time for us to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to have Dr. McField share some family news with you, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Cayman Turtle Conservation and Education Center invites you to join them on Sunday, April 3rd for their second annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run. All funds raised from the event will support the conservation of green sea turtles in the Cayman Islands. So come on out and show your support. The second annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run. Learn more and register now at www.turtlecrawl.ky. Proudly sponsored by HSM, Rotary Central, Advanced Fire Services, Gatorade, and Radio Cayman.
Mommy, Daddy, Anna, Uncle, please go get your COVID-19 booster shot and take care of yourself. You're the reason I got vaccinated.
You must practice social distancing and proper hand hygiene and never forget your mask. Help me, help you. Get your COVID-19 booster shot and take care of conditions that make you vulnerable. Get boosted. We're in this together.
Visit www.gov.ky/coronavirus to learn more.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Doc, I'm going to pass the mic over to you now and share a very important article. With us. Some people may say, some people may not know the close connections between Nicaragua and the Cayman Islands.
And also Honduras, too.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, try to clarify that for people who don't know the connections. For those who don't know, our family originated from Bordentown. The Macfields and Georgetown and elsewhere here originating from Bordentown. We were actually in the enslavement of a man called Nathaniel Glover.
Okay.
Nathaniel Glover was a rich Boston merchant from Boston who lived in Bordentown and who was a part of the 1831 rebellion at Federal St. James,
okay.
and was part of the legislature there. And when the British government heard that he had been elected, they sent a message down to Cayman quickly and told him that he couldn't serve in the legislature because he was an American citizen and was not a British subject. And so he had to resign his position, and the position went to one of the Watlers.
Okay.
Now, after emancipation, my family were the men who wrote also a petition to Victoria and to Jamaica, the governor in Jamaica, to try to get back the school teacher who had come here by Michael Truss to start the first public school in the Cayman Islands after emancipation. When he refused to stay and teach because he had to teach through a segregated school, he left and went back to Jamaica. And so my family was the one who took up the petition to try to get him back. But after emancipation, they all left. Some of them left and went to Nicaragua and to Honduras. And in fact, my family spreads all about to Cuba. They went to Nicaragua and Honduras in what they call the Great Exodus.
Okay.
When so many Caymanians left, they went to the Bay Islands and those places. My family was one of those and went to Nicaragua. So these Macfields were the ones who went to Nicaragua.
Okay.
They were the offsprings of Napoleon Lee Grant Macfield, which is my great-great-grandfather. Yes? So that's where they are. Now there are several brothers of them in Nicaragua. Now during the 1950s and 60s and stuff, they were some of the young revolutionaries fighting against the dictatorship in Nicaragua, fighting against Somoza. David Macfield, Nelson Macfield, Arturo, and all of those people were the ones in the universities fighting against with Ortega and his wife, and all of those fighting against the dictatorship. Well, they were successful. Their revolution was successful, and they opposed the dictatorship. And then David and those people who were the intellectuals, most of them became ambassadors.
Okay.
David was ambassador to Jamaica. Nelson was ambassador to Iran. David first was ambassador to Mozambique, and then when that was finished, he was posted in Jamaica as ambassador to Jamaica. And Arturo became ambassador to the Organization of American States.
Right.
But what happened lately is that the election in Nicaragua recently,
the most recent one, yes,
the most recent one has really hurt them, and has pricked their hearts as members of the government in Nicaragua. And
because Ortega is basically suppressing all opposition whatsoever. Anyone who challenges him, he finds a way.
The same thing that they fought to get rid of.
Yes.
The same thing they fought to get rid of. Yeah. And so Arturo Macfield, according to Reuters, and this was published on the BBC, it says Arturo Macfield launched a scathing attack on his government in a video address. And then it goes on to say a Nicaraguan ambassador has urged his fellow citizens to lose fear, not hope, following an explosive video address in which he described his own government as a dictatorship. Ambassador Arturo Macfield had earlier blamed the government of Daniel Ortega for widespread repression. He made the surprise attack in a speech to the Council of the regional body, the Organization of American States. The Nicaraguan government said McPhail did not represent it. Ambassador McPhail addressed the Permanent Council of the regional body, Organization of American States, via video on Wednesday. In an unexpected turn of events, the diplomat who has held the post since November 2021 condemned his own government's human rights abuses. Mr. McPhail said he was speaking up on behalf of Nicaragua's political prisoners and those killed since anti-government protests broke out in the Central American nation in 2018. His speech in Spanish was posted by Twitter by the OAS. The BBC, in it he says that denouncing the dictatorship in my country, and I'm quoting now, he says, denouncing the dictatorship in my country is not easy, but to continue remaining silent and defending the indefensible is impossible, unquote. And then he goes on to say, I have to speak out even though I am afraid. I have to speak out even though my future and that of my family is uncertain, he adds. He also denounces the lack of a freedom of speech in Nicaragua and says that the elections which returned President Ortega to a fourth consecutive term in office were not credible. He ends by assuring the OAS that people inside and outside of the government are tired of the dictatorship and its actions. Shortly after McPhail's speech, the Nicaraguan foreign minister issued a court statement simply saying that Mr. Arturo McPhail does not represent us, and therefore none of his remarks are valid. And in an interview with exiled opposition journalist Carlos Chamorro, Mr. McPhail said he had felt liberated after breaking with the government. He said he had been moved to speak out after hearing the testimony of political prisoner Tamara Davalia, who had not been allowed to see her 5-year-old daughter since her arrest 9 months ago. McPhail said, I have a 5-year-old daughter and I cried. I cried because I live a comfortable life here in the U.S., where the OAS is based. I can kiss my girl good night and pray with her, but this woman is rotting in jail. Mr. McPhail also listed the sentencing of presidential hopeful Cristiano Chamorro this week as one of the things that drove him to speak out now. Asked in the interview why he endorsed November's presidential election as free and fair. At the time, Mr. McPhail said, and I quote, I had to do it, or I would have been sacked, and my passport would have been taken from me upon my return to Nicaragua, unquote. He says that being named ambassador gave him the platform to speak truth to power. While he acknowledged how difficult it had been for him to criticize the Ortega government publicly and how he fared for his family in Nicaragua, Mr. McPhail urged his fellow citizens not to lose hope but to lose fear. That is what he said. Now,
so he's in the U.S. now.
Yeah, he's in the U.S. because that's where the headquarters for the OAS is.
Yes, yes.
I have never met him. I've met some of the others. Frank was down in Nicaragua for lived some time, and Frank knows the family well. And knows the family well. So it seems that we as of McPhails are always speaking out, and always getting opposed, and so forth. But I am happy that one of my family on the international stage is able to speak truth to power and to seek peace, and it's against dictatorship, just like I am in this country against colonialism and colonial oppression.
Yep. Okay. That's a good story there, Doc. Good, very good story. DJ Len, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. This year, a new rule was placed on fishing for grouper that says no one can fish for nass or grouper anywhere in Cayman from December 1st to April 30th while they're spawning. There is also no fishing allowed at all for any kinds of fish in the spawning zones, and no scuba diving there either. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me none other than Dr. Steve Macfield. This morning, I am told that Miss Emily Seymour, Miss Emily, will be celebrating her 90th birthday on Sunday, the 27th of this month, 27th of March, Sunday. So in advance of her birthday, we want to wish Miss Emily a happy birthday. She is one of the iconic figures on Shedden Road as well.
Yes.
And one of your neighbors.
One of my neighbors, one of my neighbors, and she also was an iconic figure on Elgin Avenue. Also,
yes, her mother,
her mother, where she was born,
Louise,
and where she was born. Her father was one of the first policemen in Cayman Islands, one of the first policemen, and also responsible for the mail, distribution of the mail, and in Cayman. I was reading some story about him, Mr. Llewellyn, and Mr. Bonner Russell, that my grandmother called LBD and W. They were, when the first cruise ships came, and the Commissioner Cardinal, I think, had asked people to lend their chairs from their homes so that the tourists could sit on the beach.
Oh, wow.
Because they had no beach chairs in those days. And Mr. Llewellyn was delivering the mail to the post office in South Sound. And when he was riding the big old government bicycle, and he got down by Smith's back there, he saw all of these white women and stuff down there, and they had all these bathing suits on. They hadn't seen that in Cayman. And you could see all of these legs and stuff, and all exposure, flesh exposure. And he dropped the mail, and he rode back to Georgetown, and he went to Mr. Bonner Russell's shop. Mr. Bonner was Mr. Joy Hilton's father.
Right,
And
yes.
He was one of the only LBD and D&W people that had a shop in Georgetown near to the Marions and McTaggart's.
Okay.
And he said, Bonner. And Bonner say, Llewellyn, we'll tell you, he say, just calm down and give me a book. That means in those days when he say, boy, he gave me a book, that means he told him a story. Yes.
Give me a book.
Yeah, he say, Bonner, he say, white legs. He say, spit back there, come with me. So he jumped on the back of the bicycle and he rode down the Smith back there. And of course, those days, the Smith back there had a lot of grape trees in the front. And when Mr. Bonner got there and opened the great leaves and peeped down to the beach, all he could see were these beautiful white legs and stuff on the beach, and he fainted right away. And that's the story about
and speaking of Miss Emily, she's a sharp dresser.
And she knows a lot of history too.
And she loves her plants and her flowers.
That's right. That's right.
It was I believe she's one of the founding members of I think it was called the Garden Club in those days or something like that. Yeah. Yes.
Well, they were some of the people that we in those days when they lived up in Mary Street, up on the end of Mary Street there, and she lived out on the bay, we would say. And we call them the sophisticated colored people.
Okay, I believe we have a caller. Let's grab the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, also, Billy Sinamba.
Hey, good morning, my friend. We haven't heard from you in a long time. We haven't been able to talk about the Privy Council's decision. We haven't been able to get any legal opinions. Nothing at all. I couldn't get in touch with my lawyer.
You don't need my opinion once you have the truth.
Yes.
Well, you see, I was listening to all the discussion by yourself, by Dr. Steve, and the others relating to the Privy Council. I think it was well covered. All I can add to that really is, as Dr. McPhail said, that decision legally was sound. Legally was sound if you go by rules of interpretation and so. And I'm a former drafter. I'm an interpretation guy, and I can tell you the same.
Okay.
Now let me just take you back a little bit to. By the way, the other thing I was going to mention when you were saying, Dr. McPhail, that there's this connection between Nicaragua and Honduras.
Yes.
I recall some time back. This was during a World Cup, and I used to work in Anderson Square, upstairs of the Cape and Wireless building. And that day, I walked into Cape and Wireless, and I found that there were all these Honduran jerseys. People were wearing Honduran jerseys. People I thought that were Caymanan, but actually they had this strong affinity to Honduras, and it was showed on that day, like with the number of jerseys they were wearing. But let me go back quickly to when you talked about the slavery and giving back the awards and burning of wigs and so on. For me, I always get a lot of inspiration from this when we talk about that topic from Exodus 34, verse 7, from the King James Version. And this is what it reads: keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children, unto the third and to the fourth generation. This is what is known as God's generational curse, as you know. Now, I don't mean to encourage people to curse each other, but I think a modern iteration of this godly principle was made by you also at the beginning when you said, well, but those of you who benefited from slavery and for those advantages and so on, cannot say today, no, we didn't benefit from it, or why do I have to pay for this? I think reconciliation in future goes with being able to accept that there are certain people, sometimes some who never even agreed with the system, but they benefited from it, and that reality has to be dealt with. But let me just finish with a very, very controversial point here. You have talked this morning yet again for the upteenth time about the policies which are intended to ensure that Caymanians can call their place their turf, their own turf.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder who is on the side of the Caymanian people, because in the last few weeks, three people who I love. One, Christopher Saunders, the deputy premier, said something about he apparently he has become very tough about work permits. Apparently,
yeah.
Okay,
and he knows it firsthand to a certain
yes,
extent too,
yes.
because he served as a member of the business staff and plan board before he got into politics.
Exactly, you know, and then it seems that the premier, when he was asked a question, he took a slightly different view. He said, well, you see, we have to ensure the private sector are getting the people that they want. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily they disagree, but I'm starting to notice some little difference there in approach. But and then when I listened to the leader of the opposition, when he was on your show, he was asked by, I think it was somebody who sent in a question and you read it, and he said, well, how about, are you concerned about people coming in and competing with Caymanians and so on? And the leader of the opposition said, but people should understand that they have to adjust in their businesses to face new challenges, which was a surprising answer. So it seems to me the opposition is also in agreement with the premier, both of whom are in disagreement with the deputy premier. So who is on the side of the Caymanians? I thought that was very interesting. I should leave it there since I've caused enough controversy by just saying that.
You definitely have stirred the pot a little bit more this morning, and you know we're going to stick on that topic for a while as well, because you know it seems as if at sometimes it's the people who complain about the fact that they can't they claim that they're not getting work permits, and they feel some sense of entitlement in that area. It seems as if they're being heard more than anyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate it. We'll continue listening.
All right, Billy. You take care. Stay safe as well. We have one more caller that we're going to grab before we go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good. I'm good. And good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning, ma'am.
I have a question and then I have a comment. If it's too close to the 9 o'clock news, I will wait. And I'm not sure how much time.
You have about 5 minutes, four and a half minutes.
All right. The first question I want to ask is the awards that are given on Heroes Day, are they from England or is that from the Cayman Islands government?
It's a mixture. Some people may choose to get their awards on Heroes Day. Usually they're done in June on the Queen's birthday celebration. And of course, we have our local.
I'm not talking about like New Year's Day awards or.
But there have been some persons who have accepted their Queen's Awards on Heroes Day because they prefer to have it accepted, have it given to them then, as opposed to on the Queen's birthday. That has happened in the past.
Maybe I should rephrase my question.
Okay.
The ones that are nominated for Heroes Day. Is that
those are
locally or by England?
Local. They're local awards.
Okay. So I'm going to take you back to Wednesday and say again that I disagree with your decision not to get your award. Because if that's what the people of the Cayman Islands feel that you deserve, then you should accept it.
And I appreciate it. I appreciate their sentiments, and I'm honored and humbled by it.
Yeah, and I do take your point about the MBE. That I can understand very much, and of course that's a personal decision that you have to make, and whatever you do should be respected. The other thing I wanted to say is that, we talk about what's happening in Cayman and happening to Caymanians. And before I say it, I want your listening audience to know that of course, this is not your opinion, Dr. Steve's opinion, or the opinion of Radio Cayman. It's my opinion. And I haven't been around as long as you are, Dr. Steve, but I certainly have been around long enough to see a lot that has happened, and I've lived a lot that is still happening. And everything has to be treated at the cause, where it starts. You know, it don't make sense to put Band-Aid on brain surgery. Okay? So, to me, Caymanians first need to know and accept who they are. And until that is done, they will never know what it is that they have the right to or what they should be getting when they're going to deny even their color, their race, or whatever you want to class it as. Then that's a major problem, and it's a troubling problem, you know. And they allow anyone to come here as long as it's a different skin tone and dictate to them, demoralize them, you know, treat them in the most egregious way, and that's okay. But if they're working with Caymanians, and especially if that Caymanian is of a caramel upward skin tone, and that Caymanian happens get a promotion, the Caymanians are not happy about that because they don't want to have to take instructions or be supervised by their own Caymanians. And I've seen that play out in the workforce for as long as I have worked. And I worked only in the private sector. But I think the president was probably set in our civil service, so the private sector just followed suit. So I'm not calling for anyone to pick up guns or knives or anything and fight. But I'm certainly saying, unless you know your history, you're lost. So I would encourage all Caymanians not to sit down and listen to people's fairy tale stories about what was, what wasn't, what was going to happen, but research it. Everyone's got a computer or a smartphone. I'm sure they know how to find Google if they can find Snapchat and TikTok. So read up a little bit about what the real story was. And it takes me back to one story, which I will hold on to.
Yeah, 15 seconds.
And that's the book that Mr. Orman wrote, you know, and why we are now in the situation we're in today. You know, that I think that story needs to be told and told and told until every Caymanian is familiar with it. Thank you for your time.
Thank
and
you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You do the same as well. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please, headline news at 9 o'clock. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after headline news.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Today's biggest news.
This week, government gazetted the National Conservation Waiver of Fees Regulations 2022. Under it, the council can waive the prescribed fees for the issue of a wildlife interaction zone tourist vessel license under the National Conservation Council license and permit directives. Ukraine is reoccupying some towns and defensive positions up to 35 kilometers east of the capital. U.S. President Joe Biden is due to visit a Polish town near the border with Ukraine as he wraps up his trip in Europe. The U.S. and the European Union have announced a major gas deal in an attempt to reduce Europe's reliance on Russian energy. 4 civilians have been killed after Russian airstrikes hit a medical center. Mariupol has been destroyed and, quote, will take years to rebuild, according to the city's mayor. Biden has said the U.S. would respond if Russia used chemical or biological weapons in Ukraine. Ukraine's President Zelensky said Europe was, quote, a little too late to stop Russia's invasion by not sanctioning Moscow and blocking the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline earlier. Those are your headlines. I'm Garsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield, even though he stepped out for a minute, but he will rejoin us soon. One of our listeners has written this and asked me to share it on the air. It says, it is time for government to stand up for its people and make difficult decisions to make Cayman for Caymanians and dispel the attitude of entitlement foreigners seem to have. I therefore suggest that real estate ownership is to be removed from the point system and that the point system be used as a qualifier to a residency lottery of which the amount per year is granted by a ratio against Caymanian birth. I'm going to repeat that because it's a good, sound idea. Person suggests that real estate ownership should be removed from the point system and that the point system be used as a qualifier to a residency lottery for which the amount per year is granted by a ratio against Caymanian births. The writer goes on to say, if everyone on a permit is given residency, not only will that position no longer be available to a Caymanian, the country will not receive the immigration charges and fees that are associated with the position. On the point of real estate, in some countries, non-citizens can only own up to 49% of any property and 51% would be retained by its citizens. So I want to thank that caller for that. They suggested there, Doc, that the real estate ownership should be removed from the points system.
I agree.
Because we see what is happening in real estate. Now, what do you think one of the reasons I believe that we see so much construction going on is, they see the numbers of persons in the Cayman Islands. They see the number of status grants and residences that are being approved, and the potential for more to be approved, and knowing quite well that as long as the property requirement is on there, people are going to have to invest in property. That is one of the reasons why we're seeing, so much of this going on. I want to really, really thank that writer for this because very, very sound ideas, and I would suggest to him that he seek to get on if there are any boards that or advisory committees that are set up to advise the government in terms of the way forward as far as residency is concerned, that seek to get on one of those advisory boards as well. We do have another caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine, thanks. And top of the morning to Dr. Steve.
Good morning, sir.
Right. I concur with you for not accepting or want to return that award because I too believe that we should have done something long before now instead of just sitting down on our duff and just accepting the colonialism mentality that still exists in this country. As you can remember, it's often said that when we have the Queen's celebration birthday, we have Caymanians that are more British than the British themselves. Mm-hmm. So I concur with you for the simple fact that we are still going through this colonialism mentality here in this country. And if you look back in history, what has happened was a lot of the land and privileges that a lot of the so-called Caucasian people are enjoying today, it came from their ancestors being land thieves, and it is still happening today. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just wanted to say I concur with you, and I would have done the same thing. Yeah. Have a good day and a good weekend, my friend Dr. Steve.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. We're going to add a little bit of wit to the discussion this morning. Well, I'm not going to add it. One of our listeners shared it with us for you and me, Dr. Macfield, and it says, say this is a good one. The person says that they had a grand uncle who often said that he was a British object and not a British subject. He said he later moved on to Honduras, where he lived and died in Honduras, because he felt that in Cayman he was an object, a British object, not a British subject. That's an interesting one. Any more calls, DJ Lynn? No callers. Here we have another question here, Doc. This person wanted to know, why does our immigration allow, and they can use that term even though right now, we have Customs and Border Control, and it's all split up. So work now is more, has a responsibility when it comes for work permits and stuff like that. So, but they wanted to know, why do we allow work permit holders to job hop without going back home and then applying? That should not be allowed. Well, I think that depends on the purpose, what how you look at it, and what are we trying to achieve by it. Now, if you're saying if a person changes jobs, wants to change the job, that they should not remain on the island, because the first and foremost, the opportunity should be given to a Caymanian for any job coming up. So if you want them to be off the island to enable a Caymanian to be able to apply for it, then that's one thing. If it's just having them off the island for the sake of being off the island, then all it is creating more expense for the individual at the end of the day.
That does not make good economic sense.
Yeah, because remember one time there was a policy that any work permit application that you submitted, you had to be off island while that work permit was being considered. And then, of course, temporary work permits were introduced, and then all sort of loopholes were used to get around those temporary work permits. And then when the demand really started to get high, because after temporary expired, normally persons would have to leave, even if they had submitted annual work permit, they had to leave during that period of time. There were similar policies, for instance, the U.S. had in that regard. If you were immigrated to the U.S. or you went there as a visitor in the United States and you applied for their green card for permanent residency, well, first of all, they never considered your application. Your applications were never considered within the United States. It was always considered at a U.S. embassy outside of the United States.
Yes.
Right? So this would have been sort of similar to that.
The United Kingdom also has that policy. If you come as a visitor in the United States and the United Kingdom, you cannot get a work permit there. Because you have to leave the United Kingdom, but so you don't get a temporary work permit just to test you out to see whether or not you're a qualified person to the position. In the UK, and I mean the reason why I'm saying that is because we still attach and follow what happens in the UK. You can get a visa to come into the UK for a interview.
Okay.
That visa is usually for 29 days or 29 days a month. But after the interview, you have to leave. If the job is offered to you, you can't stay and extend the visa now into a permanent visa, work visa. You have to go back to your country and wait until the job is approved and the visa is approved for you to come into the country and the job, because the two is not the same. The same thing is in Canada too. Canada now was allowing people to come as visitors and be able to stay and work in Canada, but I think they're changing now too, because they're although they're trying to increase their population,
especially to get people to move to those remote areas.
Remote areas, yes. So it seems to me that under the present system that we have and under the present laws that we have, the Immigration Transition Law 2021, it's leaves the doors wide open, because under the old Caymanian protection law, a temporary work permit meant that you come here to do something on a temporary basis,
and you leave
afterwards.
Yes.
For instance, the great example I try to use is that if you came here to put in a boiler for CUC or a generator for CUC, you get a work permit to do that. And when that job was finished, you had to leave. A work permit was not for you to come in to test the waters to see whether or not an employee, to see whether or not you fit for the job or whatever, and so forth, and then use that to put in for full permit. But it doesn't. But the problem doesn't arise there. The problem arises at the borders. The problem arises with border control.
But I think we have that under control with to a certain extent.
Not really. Not really, because if you look at the passport that you stamp when you were the chief immigration officer, what did it say when you come in as a visitor? When you came to the borders and they asked you what your purpose of your visit.
If you were here as a visitor, say that you couldn't solicit any employment.
That is right.
Yes, you could not solicit
employment. So when the next day when they go down to the immigration department with a temporary work permit, what are they doing then?
They're in breach of the condition that you have imposed upon them.
Well, a work permit should not be granted in those instances.
Yeah. And also a couple of things we're going to talk about this morning. Remember, and I wonder sometimes if the policymakers remember all of this, because these are things that we can resort to if we want to sort of control the numbers to ensure that Caymanians are not overwhelmed. Remember when the Hyatt first opened up, we used to have seasonal employees in the Cayman Islands. You know, the Irish, we had a lot of Irish nationals who came and worked during the tourist season.
That's right.
And after the peak season was over,
they left.
Then, of course, Cayman things started to improve here, and we no longer had that peak season. We almost had a peak season all the way throughout the year.
That's right.
And then, of course, you saw them started to make even the persons who came to build the Hyatt Hotel, the workers that came to work there, the workers that came to build the Ritz-Carlton, they were all on fixed-term work permits that were issued for that project and for that project only, and they had to leave after. I have to take a break now, and we have to call us, but at some point in time, Doc, we want to talk a little bit more about the temporary work permit system, because it is my view that the temporary work permit system is one of the greatest obstacles for Caymanians to either get a job, those who want and those jobs that are available, to either get those, or if they're in a position to move up the ladder because someone else is able to come in on a temporary, be there for 6 months, get their foot in the door, get the experience, or the so-called quote-unquote experience, and the employer then uses that as a strong argument for wanting to have that person over someone else. So we have two callers on hold. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we'll take the callers and we'll talk about temporaries later on. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Cardinal Avenue may be closed, but La Perfumerie 2 remains open. La Perfumerie 2 has an expertly curated collection of fragrance, skincare, and cosmetics, and is available for appointments with our trained beauty consultants. Customers can avail of free parking at Bayshore Mall. No need to drive around town looking for parking. Want to call and collect? Call 815-7492 or email perfumerie2@kirkfreeport.com with your order before 2 p.m. and collect from Kirk Gallery Bayshore Mall at 4 p.m. same day or next day. Full details at kirkfreeport.com.
Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report, covering local, regional, and international sports. Proudly brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. Raising children is costly. That is why each year the Ministry of Education provides, through its Early Childhood Assistance Program, funding to assist Caymanian children to attend an early childhood center. For early childhood funding assistance, call the Early Childhood Care and Education Unit at 244-3155 or 936-0267, or download an application form from the ministry's website at www.gov.ky/education and email the completed form to ecap@gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have a few callers on hold, so we're going straight to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, Lucy.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Not too bad. Good morning to Dr. Maxfield.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. So, O.C., I kind of puzzle on how you would want to not accept this MBE. The reason why I say that is that
I have it, you know.
I know, but I just want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
1 minute. Now, you remember Sir Marcel Johnson was knighted by the Queen,
mm-hmm.
and now you have
Sir Alden McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm. That he's not been knighted yet, according to the protocol, but he has the title of Sir.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for you not to accept the MBE or whatever it is that you claiming that you're not accepting.
That's what I'm telling you. I have the MBE, but I'm going to be returning it at some point in time. What the person is talking about is a local award for those persons who served within the uniform branches, and individuals nominate those persons who have served, and that's what this one is all about.
But you can't erase the pages of history, you know. And the reason I say that is that
mm-hmm.
If you don't accept it, then to me, I would think that you don't really want to be part of the colonial system, which you are a part of the colonial system.
Okay, I think you still got the two a little bit mixed up in terms of what I'm accepting and what I'm not accepting.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, I'll explain it afterwards.
But I'm sort of puzzled by the people that accept if they're knighted and are about to be knighted, that the Queen is playing a big part or a big role in that. And every year we celebrate the Queen birthday
mm-hmm.
as a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also on Heroes Day, that's a Caymanian
right.
Constitution or the way that we see it, that if any medals or whatever should be given to any Cayman, it should be on Heroes Day, which takes place in January.
And that's what we do. Yeah.
And right now, for us to continue or create new pages in history, I would think it would best that the people that accepted these MBEs or whatever that is in the Queen certification to accept them. You
think we should people should accept them?
Of course.
And many do.
Yes.
Do you think in the UK those awards are coveted? The people in the UK see that as a privilege, and they should, because it is their monarch, it is their queen, and they should. But if you Google it, there are many who have also refused to accept it, even in the United Kingdom.
I understand that. But you see what is happening up in Ukraine right now, where this big bully in Russia is trying to take these people country. Now, if somebody, if Cuba next door decided to take Cayman Islands, who would be the first to come and try to defend that?
Well, don't even talk about Cuba. Let's not talk about Cuba. Let's go back to 2004 in Hurricane Ivan. Yes.
No.
How long did we have to wait? How long did we have to wait after Hurricane Ivan?
Yes.
When all of the looting was going on and stuff like that, the foreigners were looting and all of the liquor stores and stuff like that. And people were calling the UK, bring in troops. We need assistance here. When and how many did we get? You sound like my friend. You're a strong. You're a strong monarchist, and I don't want to put you down for that at all. You know, that's your view. If you want to be that way, go ahead. I hit a chord there, Doc. I hit a chord.
Yes.
I hit a nerve.
You hit a nerve. Yes.
No, you took that wrong. That's the reason why I know.
They say when you throw a rock in the pig pen,
I know this would come. So you see how quick you were quick. You were very quick.
My friend, I just got an opportunity to turn the tide on you, so I couldn't miss out on that one. I couldn't miss out on that
one. I understand that. But you cannot eliminate or erase the pages of history. You cannot do that. See.
True. No, you can't undo. You can't undo what is done, but what you don't do is you don't allow it to happen again. You know what the Jewish people say? Never again.
Never again.
Never.
But you should never stifle the truth, OC.
No, and I don't try to do that. I always make sure that both sides are represented and both sides of the story is told.
So in your calculation, you felt that it would have been better for us to go along with Jamaica when Jamaica became an independence.
Please, sir. That is not accurate history.
At
no time in the history of Jamaica.
It is not accurate, but you have to go by it.
No, it's not accurate history. At no time in the political dealings during the 1960s that any Caymanian said that they wanted to go along with Jamaica in independence. That's a lie.
No. You had a group of Caymanians that wanted to go along with it.
No, that wasn't what it was.
That's not what it was.
The part was whether or not Jamaica would take some of the responsibilities that we could not bear ourselves,
and we would pay for them.
Full internal self-government. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
But call very quickly because I have three callers queued up there, so I'm going to give you a chance for some closing comments. We'll have more time to talk.
The closing comment.
Okay.
It's not that we must remain a British colony, but we have no other choice right now but to remain a British colony. We don't have no other choice.
Okay.
All right.
And for some people, we will never have any other choice.
Yes.
Thank you. Right now, we don't have no other choice.
Okay. Yeah. And you're entitled to that view. Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Let's grab one more caller before we go to the break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, Doc. How y'all doing?
Good morning, fine. How are you?
Morning.
All right, watering my bottle of trees and listening to you throwing them rocks up in the pig.
Yes.
No, they always say the pig got squeal the loudest, in the game, so, my poor friend, they hit him heavy, but anyway. I just called him because I was talking to Sterling yesterday on the talk show, and regarding these situations we have in our little country called Cayman Brac. We are overlooked, how you put it, because at this stage in life, anyone I can tell anyone, we are basically living in a democratic world and dictated by a dictatorship government, if you ask me, because the people here has no reverence to the people of Cayman Brac to help, and we've seen it day after day. Only last week past again, I saw some ladies came up from Grand Cayman in a government sector and was there at the office, and I'll call the office name, but I was thinking they came to do, inspection or whatever, but it seems like they came up to do hiring. And there was a young lady there at a job, and as an intern, I didn't know she was an intern. I thought she had the job.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, she was just an intern there, and now they came and put a foreigner married to Cayman Brac in the job. I am getting so disgusted by the way that our government is treating our people, because our government do not see our people. They see foreigners as a necessity in these little Cayman Islands that we have here.
And this was a government job? This was a government job?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. It's becoming a real problem. And I just can't understand what is going on in the sector of immigration or whatever, whoever's leading these. I heard you over, and I'll come off of that a little bit and then I'll come back to it. I heard you talking about the immigration laws. We have people that come here teaching in the schools. One come as a wife or one come as a husband.
Mm-hmm.
When they get into the job, they call their wife or call their husband and tell them, come on down to Cayman Brac. We got jobs open here, coming as a teacher. So in our school systems here, we have husbands and wives in 4 schools that we have on Cayman Brac. They're under husbands and wives working in the school system, and they come here as a guest with their wife or with their husbands, but yet government implement them into the system as workers. I really truly, I do not know what corruption is going on around here, but if someone does start to pass out information regarding these people taking our children jobs, because if you remember now, we have run our race. Our children is trying to start their race, and they're not getting a chance. Then after the children retaliate in this country over our government or whatever, whose fault? Who can they blame? We do our best for our children, put them through college. I put all of my children through colleges, besides the last one. They're coming out of school now, and she's getting ready to go for her 4 years. But when she come back, what is she going to do? Mm-hmm. They're going to push her in a little 3-day job per week, and they're giving the foreigners the jobs every way you turn around here. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm. And at one point in time, Cayman Brac was the place that you could say that they looked out for all of their Brackers.
Yes, they look out for their own.
So if you're feeling it over there now, then oh boy.
Yeah, we feeling the crunch, and the time if we are like what old people talk about, we are the backside, the hug. So if we're gonna become that, we gonna start squealing sooner or later.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we have to go to a commercial break. DJ Lynn, how many callers we have on hold still? We have 3 more callers on hold. I'm told I can take 1 more call before we go to the break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. McPhail, as well.
Good morning to you, Mr. Billy.
Yeah, that's all. A couple of things. One of our problems is the age-old realization of fact. It is a way of man to pass laws but follow custom. And they established, for instance, the PLC, which is supposed to deal with all public lands. Yet still, departments of government are in the process of dartizing the public beach. They all spend all kind of money like the way they wanted to dartize Smith Barcadere a couple of years ago, and we put a stop to that damn nonsense, spending $1.5 million, $2 million for whoever and the cruise ship and all the rest of it. And when I contacted the chairman of the Public Lands Commission, I said, what are you all doing here now? He said, we know nothing about it at the Public Lands Commission. Nothing. And I asked a question back then, given an opportunity for something to happen, and nothing. I've heard no information. What they're spending all this money for, they're going to pave it. You know, you find the Joni song about they found paradise and then they paved it over. That applies to Cayman. Yep. And that's what's happening with that. Another thing, dealing with land rights. When you have a registered right-of-way, go through the court, spend $40,000 to get it registered, and not the registrar of lands. Then when somebody blocks it, you then go to court, and then you have to get an injunction. And then when a penal notice is served, and when you go to the West Bay Police Station, they still don't want to enforce the penal notice. They don't understand what a penal notice means.
I think they do understand, Billy, but they're just not interested in doing that. And then you have to find out about the demographics of those people who are there. They just do not want to do that. They say it's birds of a feather flock.
Correct. Mr. Brandon.
Okay.
Now,
very quickly, I'm going to ask you to wrap up real quickly. We've got 4 callers, and we have to take our commercial break.
Well, I can wait for your commercial break.
No, we have 4 callers queued up. No, we have 4 callers queued up. Very quickly.
I'll wait for your commercial break.
No, I'm going to wrap you up now because we're going to go.
Next one is our rights to light and air. They're building another bridge over the West Bay Road, and the law that they passed for volumetric parcels of land. With all these bridges, they're going to soon connect it up. So you're going to enter a tube when you leave the Georgetown graveyard all the way down till you reach the West Bay graveyard with all these overpasses, and our right to light and air is gone the way of our West Bay Road, will be taken and stolen from us.
Okay. Caller, I'm going to close you off there because we've gone past the break and we still have those 4 callers on hold. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy to understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at Jane Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
The Ministry of Education invites all eligible Caymanians to apply for an Education Council Local Scholarship for the 2022-2023 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Saturday, April 30th, 2022.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 4 callers queued up. I just want to say that if you may have multiple topics that you want to talk about, I'm going to just ask you to choose 1 or 2 on your call this time. There will be, hopefully, God's willing, other opportunities, for those to be expressed as well. Let's go to the first caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. McFeel and Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir.
Robert Borden here.
How are you doing, sir?
It's a long subject, so I try to be as brief as possible.
Okay.
I want to reiterate again, there seems to be a discrimination against the Caymanian people in this country. Now, I sold my building, and I bought a piece of land on Esteltibbs Way. That's the only property on the Esteltibbs Way that has a legal access. Planning told me I got to get through Esteltibbs Way. The previous owner had applied for a building there, and planning gave them, the letter says, we approve you to build that building, but you got to get access from Road Authority. I applied to a Road Authority, and Road Authority says, no, it's a limited access. I looked through all the laws so far. I might be wrong. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't see anything designated as a limited access there. Secondly, I researched the United States when they create limited access, and they need to name the street. Esteltibbs Way, far I can remember, don't have a street name. It's on the map as Esteltibbs Way, and also where the limited access begins and where it ends. Now, the faithfulness of the director of NRA wrote me a letter saying I must turn my building around. I must enter through Greenwood Drive, and planning is saying, no, you can't enter through Greenwood Drive. You got to enter through the So they have landlocked my property now.
And you said the previous owner had approval.
I want the premier and all of these guys to straighten this up for me, because I'm a local team. I worked hard in this country, went to sea, saved my money, and invested in here in Cayman Islands here. Worked in many of the industries in air conditioning and whatnot. And here, you're treating the Cayman people like dirt. So, and this is not right. The precedent is set. The Lakeview apartment has access to Esteltibbs Way.
That's correct.
National Gallery has access to Esteltibbs Way. Mr. Dart has access to Esteltibbs Way on the southbound traffic. So what is it that Caymanian now can't have access there? And the lies that told Mr. O'Connor and Dr. Marfield is that line of sight had to have 345 feet. I had a land surveyor measured it, and the line of sight from the access that they gave to the Butterfield roundabout is 742 feet.
They found a Caymanian that they could squeeze, and they're going to make sure that they squeeze you. They found someone that they can overpower.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm asking the public, and we got to do something about it. You cannot give just the foreigners access to this island. We need the Caymanian to have benefits to this island. We built it up. We kept it a peaceful way. That's what people are coming here. And we are just ruining this and giving it all the foreigners down here.
Yep.
And we got to stop this foolishness. Here, I need my building built. And I don't want some director there that tells me now I must turn my building around. And the board, this is not all things. He is directing the board. Now the board now got my application to edit Esteltibbs Way. That is wrong. He cannot affect the board must decide that. And another thing,
very quickly.
The people that they put on these boards, that is NRA and also the planning department, I don't believe they read the Constitution nor any of the laws that they did. Yes, sit down there, the director, we want to do this, they go do that. Every man or woman that's put for the board need to be conversant in the Constitution and also whatever laws that pertain to that. So That's my 2 cents. I would like to come back more and more on that. Because not only that last point, I got to leave you. Further down the road, after you pass by the cross you left there, there's 2 pieces of property to sale down there, and it's stated in the sign that have access to this way.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Doc, it sounds as if we need a stand your ground law in the Cayman Islands, but it doesn't have not to do with gun rights. Not to do with gun rights. Just stand your ground, for your principles, on your principles, and hold your ground. Stand your ground. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, OC.
Yes, go right ahead.
Good morning, OC.
Go right ahead, caller.
Yes, and Mr. Markfield, how are you today, sir?
I'm fine.
Thank you. I just got a little concern. I understand that over in the BRAC, in the licensing department, they had Mr. Raymond Scott, which I know he was a police with us as well. He's been there, I know, over 13, 14 years, and I understand now that they had some, young Cayman Brac, intelligent young people that used to hang around and was learning, the job quite well and was capable of doing the job. And I don't know if he had to retire or he retired. I know he's not to retirement age as yet. And I understand that has been given to a foreigner as well now that is in charge of inspecting cars and stuff like that. I mean, when will this stop? How can this go on? I mean, they've got young, smart people in Cayman Brac. They could take that job, and a foreigner has got the job. How can it be, Mr. Markfield? Can you explain it? Who's the one that can stop all of this?
You? You?
I wish I could. Tell me how I would stop it.
Well, you need to speak to other people, and you need to have other people along with you, and you should stand and make your stand. I don't see any people out in the streets. I don't see any people. I see people. I see some other people who say their rights have been violated. Standing for their rights. I don't see local people standing for the right for jobs and the right for a living wage. I don't see anything. I see people calling the radio show and complaining to OC&I, but I don't see any people standing in all those places where the people who are elected to do something. I'm standing there. I don't see any people doing that.
That's true, Mr. Markfield. I know that I agree with you 100%. And you yourself and OC know how Caymanians is like to talk.
Well. If you keep doing the same thing for one generation or for a century, and you're not getting any results, what people say you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Caller.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
It's a shame because I know Mr. Scott been there a long time. Now he's doing. Now he spent a lot of time fishing. But it's so sad for the young Cayman Brac and young men that had applied for the job and they couldn't get it.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. We're going to take a commercial break. We have one more caller. After that caller, we're cutting the phone lines off because I have several WhatsApp messages as well we need to share. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in your hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
This is Georgina Kerford, your Miss Cayman Islands Universe, and I'm inviting all young ladies between the ages of 18 and 27 to register to compete in the 2022 Miss Cayman Islands Universe pageant. Applications are located at our website at MissCaymanIslandsUniverse.com. Winning the crown has been a life-changing experience for me, one that has paved the way to many opportunities. Be a part of this amazing journey. The deadline for registration is the 31st of March. Thank you to our sponsors, Compass Media, Radio Cayman, and the Cayman Islands Government Ministry of Tourism.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going to entertain our last call for the show today. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC and Mr. Macfield. How are we doing this morning?
Good morning. Fine. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored beyond measures.
Great. Good to hear that.
OC, two things I want to touch base on this morning.
Sure.
The situation with the young man in Cayman back with the employment issue.
Mm-hmm.
There was a issue went on I think about a few months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, where this Canadian family was in the restaurant celebrating victory over a trained Caymanian. He got the position in government over the Caymanian, and they were celebrating Caymanians in the restaurant overheard.
Okay.
Have you heard about that one?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, I don't know who that Caymanian person was, but that cut me to the core. That had me in tears. Our Caymanians are all continuously being smothered, and foreigners are being put first. When I contacted our members of government ministers, they said they do not do the hiring. It is Mr. Manderson and the governor.
Let me sort of correct you there. Mr. Manderson has been given responsibility for the civil service. The governor has handed that over to him. In the civil service, you have chief officers who have departments that fall under them. You have heads of department that fall under the chief officers, and then you have lower managers as well. Certain things are delegated to others. Certain hiring is not necessarily the chief officer. It could be the head of the department do the hiring, as well. But in a way, yes, the governor and the deputy governor, they have responsibility for the civil service, but the actual hiring and stuff like that are done by lower managers. Unless it's a higher position, like a chief officer's position or something.
Okay, so but at the end of the day, our DG has a role in and agreeing to that person being hired.
Not necessarily. No.
Not necessarily.
No.
Well, okay, because it's whoever is doing the hiring, they need to go. Caymanians, this place is for Cayman. This Cayman Islands is for Caymanians, and we need to give Caymanians what is due for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We have our children coming out of school on a yearly basis. Oh, they're not qualified. Qualify them. Put them on hands training. Put in ICCI or UCCI courses that would put people automatically into government position jobs. Enough is enough. And what you said about the young man with standing up, I agree with you. The issue is Caymanians has too much pride. That's why they're not standing up in the streets for our rights. Anywhere else you find people protesting. It does not have to be a violent protest. A silent protest. How many times have we done silent protests here? But at the end of the day, we got the attention we need, and people knew where we stand and what we wanted. But it all takes Caymanians to come together and unite and stand together. The demand changes.
Yep.
And it's not going to happen unless we take a stand and demand changes.
Well, caller, let me ask you something. I don't know of any people who would suffer hunger and depravity because of pride. If Caymanians have too much pride and to go and stand up for to get money to eat and to put a shelter over their heads and to give their children education, then they should sack that pride quickly, because that is a trait that they don't need to have right now. Exactly. And something I would like to say to you: the strong do what they will, and the weak suffer what they must. So if we are suffering, if we suffer, Caymanians are not strong people. I must come to that conclusion that they're not strong people, because for generations and generations and for decades and decades, all they do is complain and complain and complain and say about the foreigner this and the foreigner that, but they have not done anything about it to solve the problem. So weak people will always be overcome by the strong.
Caller?
Unless we cut that curse and stand up for our rights.
Exactly.
We need to cut it and stand up for our rights. My second
very quickly, caller, very quickly.
Is Mr. Biden. I am aware of what he is saying, because I am the vice president for Washington Boulevard committee, and we had our people in here signed a petition stating that they did not want the traffic coming from his property through Greenwood Drive. Took it into planning, and planning stamped our paperwork. And when we found out that our paperwork was stamped on the 21st, and planning had the said paperwork stamped the 28th. How can that be? I really don't know. But I was told when I went to the meeting in planning that they were giving him access off the Esla-Tibbetts highway. That was where he was getting access. So I really don't know why that's changed or how that is changed. But what's good for one should be good for all. And if others can get access off that bypass, he should be able to get it too.
Agreed. Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Thank you. You have a great day. Please stay safe as well. So, Doc, we have one here for you. It says, okay. Trying to find the WhatsApp message that came in about okay, here we go. Yes. Person says they wish they could meet the person and definitely give them a well-deserved hug. I was surprised when I first heard that was part of the point system. And then they say, Dr. Steve, it's good to hear about the McPhail heritage. The person says, my children are always eager to learn about the family. And when I tell them about some of the things some of the persons related to them, two of them would say to me, Mommy, really? Person says, goes on to say, I'm part of the McPhail clan through marriage, and I must say I'm proud to be part of them. And I must say, I'm proud to say that my in-laws were very good to me, and I didn't get no from any of them if I needed help with the children. God bless. So
thank you. Yes, that's very good.
The McPhail family. So many WhatsApp messages here. I'm trying to negotiate to find all of them so that I can read them. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Doc. You do your closing comments in the meantime. Anything that you want to comment on? We never did get to talk about the temporary work permit.
Oh, we never
system.
get to talk about.
But just in gist on that, the temporary work permit system, you're not required to advertise on jobs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Initially, we talked about the fact that temporary work permits were intended for a person to come in to do a specific job and to leave after that job has been completed within that 3-month period that it was. We took it and we extended it. First, it was only 30 days, then we extended it for another additional 60 days for a total of 90 days.
Yes.
Now, temporaries are up to 6 months, right? Person who obtains a temporary work permit, most companies apply for temporaries with the intention of applying for an annual work permit. The system, the way it is now, does not prevent them from doing that. That needs to be reviewed, and we need to look and see whether or not that is benefiting Caymanians or not, because like I pointed out earlier, it gives that person a foot in the door for 6 months. They have established themselves, and those... what was the term that you used the other day when we were talking about the Privy Council, that it would not have been something honest?
Intellectually dishonest.
Those companies that are intellectually dishonest will find a way to craft their applications and their adverts and everything else to suit that particular individual and to exclude all others.
Yes. I know that, and I have always said that a fully informed Caymanian society will understand that some of these laws are in urgent need of reform. That is particularly now urgent, that some of these laws has to be reformed. But we didn't get to have any discussion on the letter from your boss.
Oh yes, and one of our listeners wrote us, sent me a WhatsApp message about that as well.
The Burton's letter, I call it.
Yes.
To the minister, to the deputy.
I don't know if we have enough time. If you want to read, what someone sent there on that. I don't know if you can see it. That was in relation to it.
And someone said, "Good morning for the record, most panelists and listeners. Mr. Burton, the chairman of the BSP."
It should be Barton.
Mr. Barton from the BSP board letter in the Compass today was very timely and correct. He is saying that those of us who are users or victims of the system has known for years and has been saying for decades the problem is, as Mr. Barton said, very weak policies and systems at Immigration WORC department. The last government created a toothless tiger with the ill-equipped WORC with no policy or vision. The WORC jobs portal is a joke. It is not functional and is doing more harm than good to Caymanians. If these weaknesses are not remedied now, future generations of Caymanians will curse it. I hope the PAC government will address the source of the problem and not be afraid of some criticism and then pay lip service by applying only band-aids to the gaping wound. God bless us. That's what someone had sent in.
Okay. I think we have one voice note that we're going to try to get through before we close the show off. Go ahead, DJ Lynn. Okay, I want to thank that.
So I just want to say before you leave,
sure, go ahead, Doc.
that Burton's letter is very revealing, and I just want like to say something that Mr. Ormond said many years ago, and I want to rephrase it. So what says, and he was saying, the economic progress of Caymanians have always been sidelined in favor of vulgar profits and aggressive, narrow sectorial interests. And in my own words, I'm saying that we have the right to expect our elected representatives to see to the fact that we are economically satisfied, and that I would say that Caymanians have a constitutional right to the highest attainable level of economic success, just like everybody else. And that is what they should do, and they should stand for that. And they not only should just call a radio station and make excuses and stuff. They should stand for that. You have to have fortitude if you want change. You're not going to get change from the time that the person who you're seeking change discover that you're just paying lip service. He's not going to do anything. Yes. It's going to what they say in Egypt. Say Pharaoh hardened his heart. When they come to Pharaoh, when Pharaoh found out that they weren't as strong as he thought he was, he hardened his heart. Pharaoh is going to harden his heart, and you have to do something else besides just calling into the radio show and complaining. You have to stand for what you believe in. Stand your ground because you have a constitutional right to do so.
Yep. Doc, I want to thank you very much for being here, folks. I want to thank all of you who've contributed this morning. This work permit thing is a huge topic. Unfortunately, it appears at times that the persons whose voice is being heard, those are the ones who are on the other end of the work permit spectrum. They're the ones who want to have the work permits. They have the strong argument. Without them, the economy can't grow. We can't fill the hotel rooms if we don't have workers. And I'm still waiting for all of those persons who use the theory that the more work permits we issued, the more opportunities we're creating for work for Caymanians. I do not understand that logic, and I believe that I am a fairly intelligent, fairly smart person. I still do not understand that logic. And for all of the years that I have worked in immigration and in government, I have not seen it work that way. And folks, I'm 72 years of age now, and I started working in the civil service when I was 32 years old. So I've seen it. I do not agree with that logic at all. Have a great day, folks. Please stay safe. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow